Today in this PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to talk about the contemporary business leader of my dad and comparing him to another business leader in the same industry. So today I will be talking to Tony DeBolt, who is the business owner of Would-Be Customs, and going in depth about who he is as a person, what type of leader he is, and his greatest achievement within the 15 years of owning the company. Also, how he has handled one of his biggest challenges, his mission and vision statement of his company, and how he rewards his employees and shows leadership, and ultimately my takeaways after the interview and how I see all of his mindsets. So as a person I view as a good business leader would be my dad and entrepreneur Tony DeBolt. He owns the custom cabinet company called Would Be Customs and has owned this company for over 15 years. The industry that he works in is manufacturing, and I chose him as a leader because as my dad, as well as my boss, he always knows how to lead and help me and as well as the other employees succeed in what they're doing to produce better products. So, one of his greatest achievements since starting his company back in 2010 is the ability for him to take his business from out of the house into a commercial shop late in 2017, allowing for more business, better quality of products, faster time to finish jobs, as well as more trust in customers. For example, the ability to have more trust in customers is because of a stereotype some people may take away, would be that a home-based company may not be trusted because it's out of your home, but having a commercial shop allows for more trust in customers to do a better job because it seems more professional. Also, it allows us to get more machines and workers for products to be better and finished faster. On the Likert scale below, he rated a 35 out of 50, meaning he moderately follows servant leadership. This relates to his achievement because, for example, listening, he understood that people would much rather have someone working out of the shop because it gives a more professional vibe than being a home-based company. Also, him having a 5 on foresight makes complete sense because he was able to see what his business would look like after he got a shop, and he saw the benefits from that. So, like listening, he could tell what the customers needed, what the employees needed, and he realized that he needed to get a shop. And for the foresight, he could see in the future of if I get a shop, that it may allow for more business into my company, and he could understand that with the short term and long term um, problems and goals. So the one of the main challenges that he faced over his 15 years of owning Would Be Customs was unfortunately the pandemic of COVID-19, and this all caused a lot of companies and his as well to shut down because people were quarantined in their houses, so it was hard to get business. Some of the ways he got around those challenges was by conserving the material like wood and paint to last longer. He would try his hardest to do business with people who are comfortable with coming in their homes, which was a struggle. But after the year mark from about 20 to 21, the pandemic started to ease down, which allowed him to start getting more business. But because of inflation, material prices got raised, which almost doubled, and this caused him to raise his prices as well to counteract that inflation. And going to servant leadership, it refers to increasing the service of others rather than yourself. And management refers to creating the vision and the plan, and you're more in charge of a business rather than you are the people. In this situation on the Likert scale, he got 30 out of 50, which shows he showed a moderate amount of servant leadership. But in this situation, he would be considered to show more management because he was worried about what to do with the business with COVID and whether he was going to be able to stay up and running. And he was also mainly focused on the short and long term goals of the company and making sure that he had enough money to pay his people, his bills, keep his house up and running as well as the shop. So even though it shows that he did pretty good on the servant leadership side, because of this certain challenge, it would show that he was more of a managerial leader, and because it was more based focused on money and how the company was going to perform during COVID because it was such a hard time. And during that challenge of COVID-19, one of the power bases he used was expert power, which definition is a person having power because of their education, knowledge, and training on a topic or task. For example, his knowledge of how to save money in case of emergencies, as well as knowing how to keep his business alive when he was struggling to find people to place orders or work in general. Knowing how to do those certain things allowed him to have money to keep paying the bills for the shop, getting whatever material he possibly could as well, and maintaining a positive outlook on the whole situation. It is what helped him keep his business running during COVID. And until it slowed down for him in about 2022, that's when everything started to pick up in pace with him, and he started getting everything back under control, except for the prices. Going to his mission statement, um, why he started this company was because he loved what he did and he wanted to give everyone what they wanted. He ended up getting laid off in 2009 after the economic crash in 2006 to 2008. He wanted to provide with people with the best quality cabinetry out there. Therefore, knowing certain wood companies helped a lot. Whether it was kitchen cabinets, laundry cabinets, entertainment centers, closets, etc. Anything in between, he loved doing what he did. So, he started his own business, and that was the vision that made everything possible for him. The strategy on completing this was because he had a skill set and knowledge on how to run a business and how to talk to people, also as well as the skill sets needed for that job, and that allowed him to easily start his company and make a name for himself. According to him, the entrepreneurial mindset is extremely important because if you have a certain skill but don't like working for someone else, that can have a bad mindset on you and help you do what you love and oversee yourself. As well as a mindset teaches a person not only know how to run a single part of the business, but as well having that managerial mindset, it teaches you everything you need to know from the start till the end, and that's important when it comes to starting a business or just being in business in general. The leadership style that he personally used when handling the negative situations or positive best aligns with, in my opinion, the transactional leadership, which falls under a task-oriented leader under the behavioral theory. A transactional leader is defined as focusing on clarifying employee role and task requirements and providing followers with a positive and negative reward depending on their performance. With all the information that I have received, I believe he shows that style of leadership because personally working for him, the information he gave is very big on making a good relationship with his employees and between him and you. Another leadership model that ties in with the combination of all that is the theory of relationship model because he cares about all of his employees as well as getting that job done. One of the main reasons he started his own business was because he did not like being told what to do in, or have angry bosses at him who did not care about him. So having that relationship oriented behavior is very important to him because it gives him the ability to really connect with his employees and understand what they want, what they need, what'll work best with them, their hours they need, and all of that. And that really falls under the relationship oriented behavior. So when it comes to comparison, Tony uses like I said, the transactional leadership, and some of those traits that go along with it is the ability to give employees negative and positive rewards for their actions. For example, if you are showing dedication and hard work, he may give you a raise, but if you're showing laziness or not wanting to work, he will talk to you and either tell you to step it up, or unfortunately, he may fire you, which has happened in the past. He also cares about his employees and their ability to succeed. So some of the strengths that go along with this is the clear structure and feedback that you will get if you are doing a good or a bad job, which is important. Also, the ability to get a pay raise or bonus is a big motivation for employees to work their hardest and get their work done. But on the opposite side, a weakness could be that employee is only working because they are getting that reward at the end, not because they enjoy what they're doing or anything like that. They are just fully focused on the money aspect, which when you're in business, that's not what you should do. And in comparison, I chose the Peterman family because who own the company Peterman Lumberman. Um, I say use individual consideration, and this style is based off the ability to each one of their employees give encouragement to be the best employee that they can and at their specific tasks. So some of the strengths that go along with that is the ability to improve certain skills of each employee to maximize their performance and their desire to work. And doing that builds trust between the employee and employer. But a weakness that goes along with this style, it can be very time consuming depending how many employees you have. If you are a big business with a lot of employees, it can take a long time. But also it can cause favoritism because an employee may give better advice and help to one person rather than because they like them more, which can cause conflict between employees and the business because they are jealous of each other. So when it comes to being a good leader, two of the big traits that you should possess would be the ability to have emotional stability and have intelligence. A trait that would not be helpful would be being a narcissist. Emotional stability is the ability to remain calm and understand things during stressful and hard times. For example, Tony went through a difficult time during COVID, and because he possesses that emotional stability, he was able to overcome the challenges and stressful situation during that time. So the ability to have intelligence can mean two things. Either having intelligence on how to run your business or the intelligence to manage people. And both varieties are important to be a successful leader. One of the big problems to have as a business leader is being a narcissist, which means being you are extremely self-centered and you really only care about yourself and not anyone else, which can strongly weaken relationships at work as well as the business output that you bring. So, yeah, and these are my references. And I chose to interview, or my reflection, and chose to interview him because not only as a father figure to me, but also as my boss working for him for a couple years, he showed me to be a good leader. Also, the way he treats me, his customers, and the rest of our employees really define the type of person and leader he is. And after seeing him power through his challenges, it really showed the intelligence he has on running a company and how good of a leader he really can be. And with some of the challenges that I faced with research was, the ability to find a good comparison leader because with the cabinet company and all that, there's not that many people. But the way I handled it, I had to switch my comparison leader, which wasn't too big of a deal. So, yeah, but overall, that was my reflection on how and why I chose my dad and as well as my boss to be my my figure and leader that I chose, and yeah.